Brian.
Hi there. Hi, Whisper. Hi, Flo. How are you guys? I think everybody expects me to be super late. I was only 15 minutes late, but we were telling stories in the Zoom. Sorry, can't just leave midstream, right? Okay. Sad news if you guys didn't hear that Jolissa Fuentes, her body was found. She was the one that went missing around the same time Kylie Rodney went missing. But I think they knew all the time that it wasn't good. But I know that Adventures with Purpose went to look for her too, but she was found, I believe it's in a ravine. And then we'll look at, they're still waiting on the Alex Jones verdict. They still haven't come up with a verdict because I guess there's a lot of calculations to figure out the damages, right? And what else was it we're going to update on then? There's a couple of plea deals I'm going to update you on. And I'm trying to think what else. There's really not too much new yet with that kidnapping. But we'll take a look at that too. Hi, Chris Ree. Hi, Gail B. Hi, Margot. So we'll take a look at all of that. But let's see what we've got going on in the world today. Oh, that's South Carolina. That's the other thing. That South Carolina family murder. It was this son who's charged with killing the parents. And I think this is what Jimmy tried to send me the other day. Oh, before we do that, Marianne Frontini, I'm just going to make just a couple of housekeeping things. Please check your PayPal. Let me know if you don't have that request because I'm trying to get the packages sent out. I've got the majority of your stuff is going to be shipped tomorrow, UPS, and thank you. I've got your payments on whatever it is. Tammy, Jimmy just gave me the information I need to put your stuff there and get that out. So I'll try to do that later on tonight. And I think a lot of people went out or they're going out today and tomorrow. So Janae, check if you're expecting something from me. Deborah Schwenke, your stuff shipped today. Who else shipped today? Debbie Schwenke. Trying to think, there was. Casey Jones, your stuff shipped today. Nicole, yeah, you're one of the ones I've got to get together along with your prize, Robbity Bob. We're going to get your laser out. Hopefully we're going to get all that done tomorrow. We do have something like majorly important to do tomorrow that I even had to cancel a dentist appointment for. So we're going to try our darndest to do that, but rough like stuff, your stuff that's going UPS is already packed, but like Robbity Bob and Nicole and Sharon and stuff, yours are some of the last few things. So they will probably go out on, what is tomorrow? Thursday. All right. And then we're supposed to have a sale tomorrow. And I know the girls got some really good stuff. And I have some really great stuff from an estate sale. But I probably won't have it tomorrow because of what I have to do. My plans were first to go to the dentist and then go and pick stuff up. But because the way this is very important what I have to do, so I'll be gone and won't be, but I may be able to stop somewhere else and get some things in the interim. So, but the girls have picked up some nice stuff, so there will be a sale tomorrow, vintage live sale, and that'll probably be in the evening. I'll definitely have to be back because our kids, you can't keep our kids out, So probably maybe try to start at like 7 or 8 or something. Okay. All right, that's all out of the way. Oh, and the Lisa, remember the shell saga? It all ended well because I had a feeling that maybe I took the shells out of the box to do some finishing touches on them, and it just ended up that Jimmy shipped everything but not the shells, and everything got there unbroken. And so now I have her shells. Now I just have to ship those. So that ended well too. So I really didn't need to be at like whatever level of anxiety I was at. But that's all done. And yeah, okay. And Leslie Romani, I just finished putting some finishing touches on your shells, and then I'm going to put the little ribbon hangers. So those will probably be Thursday. But I did have Jimmy weigh them, so I think he gave me price so that I can get that and get that out to you, okay? All right. Sorry about all that little housekeeping stuff. Let me go to the Sun. It's really quite disturbing, like all these people that are just killing their families. I don't understand. 3 members of a South Carolina family were shot to death over the weekend. One of them was a council member in the historic African American community of Atlantic Beach. James DeWitt II and Gloria DeWitt, both 52, were found dead at their home in Columbia. The third victim was Natasha Stevens, also 52, of Conway. Stevens was a cousin, so he shot his parents and the cousin. I say Horry County, and someone told me it's not Horry that you say. Does anybody know how you say that? Horry County. Is Debbie D still on here? Because I say Horry County, and someone said no, it's not Horry County. It's what to say? Horry County. Police were called to the Stevens home on Sunday and found her dead. Richland County Sheriff's deputies conducted a welfare check that evening at the DeWitt's home. The Atlantic Beach Mayor Jake Evans said the town is shocked and deeply saddened by the deaths of Councilman Jim DeWitt and his family. Now, I am questioning something. Is this another? Hold on a second. Just a second here. So do you know what? I thought this was the one we covered the other night in South Carolina. This is another one. This one is in Horry County, where the son killed his parents and his cousin, all 52 years old. Then there was one in Spartanburg where 5 people were killed. That's crazy. And let me see if they've given us any more information on that Spartanburg. Let me see. So let's see here. 5 people are dead after a Sunday evening shooting in Inman on Bobo Drive. 4 people were found dead. 1 was transported to the hospital, was rushed to emergency surgery, but they died during surgery. The Spartanburg County Coroner Rusty Clevenger released the identifications of 3 men who died in the shooting, and they were Thomas Ellis Anderson, 37, Adam Daniel Morley, 32. Both lived on Bobo Drive. Mark Allen Hewitt, 59, was staying at the incident location, and he also died in the shooting. We're working hard to get other family members notified, and we'll report names when appropriate. So this is another, wow, that's really sad. 2 massacres in the home. They haven't released how those people are related at all. Let's see, I'm going to check one other one to see if there's any more. Investigation ongoing after 5 found dead. Wow, okay. So this is another one. And then the little boy over here, poor little kid. He was found, he was missing, and he was found dead in a bucket near family friend's home. 2-year-old North Carolina boy reportedly died on Friday after he vanished from a home. Cornelia Lindsay dropped off her son, Denari Lindsay, at a family friend's home in Edenton. Hours later, she received a call that her son was in the hospital, where a deputy told her that he had died. Okay, this is not the little one that was missing. It's scary that there's so many kids that we're getting them confused. It shouldn't be this way. The Chowan County Sheriff's Department told the news outlet that they responded to the residents following reports. Oh, he was missing, of a missing child. A detective reportedly found the toddler upside down in a bucket after spotting his feet among other items outside of the house. Kornaya said on Facebook that her son had disabilities that required him to wear glasses and a hearing aid. And it was also reported that the toddler boy was also autistic. According to the mother, her son was found upside down in a bucket that would contain 3 inches of water. She alleged that a detective told her a toddler was not wearing his glasses or his hearing aids. My son was born blind and had a moderate hearing loss, so if you didn't see the bucket, how could he have seen it without his glasses? He can't see what we see, she wrote. The mother also claimed that the woman she left Denari with told police that she was in the bathroom when he disappeared. The woman allegedly started to cry after a detective questioned her about why she did not put him in the playpen, which was reportedly located near the bathroom. No charges have been filed. The Chowan County Police said that the case remains under investigation and an autopsy is pending. That's very sad. And then another babysitter incident that didn't end well, but she took a plea deal in Nevada, the babysitter, in connection with the 2021 death of a 5-year-old boy that she killed while babysitting. Lauren Jeanette Courtney took a plea deal with prosecutors after murdering 5-year-old Ryan James Peralto in his home on March 11th, 2021. She was scheduled to start trial on October 17th, but pled guilty to first-degree murder in exchange for a life sentence. She remains behind bars at the Clark County Detention Center until sentencing. She'll be eligible for parole after serving 20 years. Ryan was rushed to a Las Vegas hospital. He was in critical condition on March 11, 2021, but he died the next day. Police arrested Courtney, 22 at the time, and charged her with the child's murder. An arrest report stated that Courtney was babysitting Ryan and his 7-year-old sister while the children's parents were working, and at around 11:50 a.m., Courtney contacted the boy's father and said Ryan had thrown up blood. Peralta went home and found Ryan unresponsive. The father told investigators that Courtney left once he arrived at the home. The father said that his daughter previously told him that Courtney had been hurting Ryan, and he installed security cameras in the home shortly after. According to the arrest report, the video showed the suspect kicking Ryan in the face, slapping him and punching him. The footage then showed her undressing him, dragging him in the shower. Officers were able to view video surveillance on an app from the father's phone. Officers observed Courtney pulling Ryan by one arm through the doorway of the bathroom. Lauren states, "I know you're faking it." She's observed kicking Ryan in the face with her foot, punching his face, and slapping his chest. And then she takes off his underwear and drags him into the shower. She squats down to him and kicks his head, and his head moves away from his body. Ryan has no reaction to this and does not even raise his hands as his body is limp. When investigators questioned Courtney, she said Ryan had a bruise on his head when she arrived to babysit. She allegedly insinuated that the boy's father was at fault, and when asked if she knew that the father had security cameras, she said, "I know he has 3. Courtney eventually admitted that she became upset when the boy urinated on himself. She said she may have been mad and blacked out because she has no recollection of stepping on Ryan. Lauren then stated she has mental issues or mental health issues. Along with the murder charge, Courtney was charged with 8 counts of child abuse. And she told police that she was an entertainer who babysat on the side, making about $300 a week from the Peralta family. Yeah, great. Okay. Now, we watched that Girl Scout documentary last night, and I watched at least the first 2, and I think I fell asleep somewhere in the 3rd. It's 4 parts. I will say that that singer narrator really wasn't needed for the documentary, and I really don't think she had a lot of knowledge about the incident, and it was made to sound like she was like very close friends with these girls, but you can watch it for yourself and judge. But do I think the documentary is worthy of watching? Yes, because there's a lot of other information that from the investigators that were there, where you can see the crime scene, where you can hear from the children's parents and that stuff. Yeah, I do think it's worth your time to watch. So we can talk about it later maybe. I still have to watch the last 2 episodes. So a 25-year-old Pennsylvania woman hasn't been seen since September 21st in Wilkinsburg. Pittsburgh police say Devondra Miller may have traveled to Armstrong County, Canton County, Ohio, or Central Florida. She's described as 4'11", weighing about 100 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes, although she may have dyed her hair darker. Okay, so Miller was charged earlier this summer in Kiski Township with criminal trespassing, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest, public drunkenness, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Anyone with information should call police at 412-323-7141. She's found. And then we talked about the missing Colorado girl, Chloe Campbell. She was found safe. Thank goodness. Okay. Talked about Kanye already. Talked about those. Okay. So this is a sad story. Tennessee woman remains in the hospital. She's recovering from an attack earlier this month that was carried out by the family dogs that mauled her children to death. It happened in Millington, near Memphis, at a home close to Shelby Forest State Park, which was off of Sylvan Road. Lily Jane Bernard, 2 years old, and her 5-month-old brother, Hollis Dean Bernard, passed away Wednesday after their family dogs mauled them to death. The dogs also attacked the children's mother, Christy Jane Bernard, who's 30, and she was taken to Regional 1 Health in critical condition. On Thursday afternoon, the sheriff's office tweeted that Christy's medical status had been upgraded to stable condition. Christy's husband, Colby Bernard, was reportedly unharmed in the incident and wasn't home when it occurred. It's unclear what triggered the dogs to attack, but the sheriff's office said that they'll continue to investigate. Colby's uncle, Jeff Gibson, said the attack lasted around 10 minutes as Kirsty did her best to protect her children. She put her body on top of Lily's to try to protect her after the attack started, Colby Bernard's uncle, Jeff Gibson, said during the interview. Both dogs started attacking her while she was laying on Lily. Gibson added on Facebook that Kirsty had an unaccountable amount of stitches and bite marks over her entire body, including her face. And this is the, the update. Let's see if I can get the update. The update is just an update on my nephew and his wife. As of yet, there are no funeral arrangements for the kids. Kirsty is still in the hospital with an uncountable amount of stitches and bite marks over her entire body, including her face. Both arms and legs are bandaged, wrapped up completely. As of now, it looks like there isn't any permanent damage other than a heart that will never heal. Kirsty is an effing hero. The attack lasted over 10 minutes, and she never gave up trying to save these babies. Now all of us, family and friends, have to rally around both of them and show them how much they are loved. I don't know if there can be a healing process, but hopefully we can all find a way to cope with this tragedy. That's insane. Gosh. They were 2 pit bulls named Cheech and Mia. They had been family pets for the past 8 years without any issues. I can promise you those children were her world, and if there was any inkling of danger, she would have never had those dogs, said her best friend, Kelsey Canfield. Those children were everything to them, and they just have a really long journey ahead. The family had the pets, Cheech and Mia, for more than 8 years without a violent incident. The dogs were taken into custody by animal control and have since been euthanized. Meanwhile, a GoFundMe page has been set up to help the family with expenses. That is just crazy. And then an 80-year-old California woman was mauled dead by 2 dogs while out for a morning walk. She was found dead on Friday in the Baldy Mesa area of the Mojave Desert after police say 2 hunting dogs attacked her. The 80-year-old Soon Han was found deceased on the side of the road Friday morning at about 11 a.m. Hang on one second here. Just see if I can get a... No, I don't have. Let's go to the statement from the Victor Valley. So here's the statement from the Victor Valley Sheriff's Department. It says, on Friday, October 7th, 2022, at approximately 11:09 a.m., deputies with the Victor Valley Sheriff's Station were requested to the area of Vinton Street and Mesa Road, where an 80-year-old Soon Han was found unresponsive in the roadway. Through information gathered during the preliminary investigation, investigators believe Han was out for a walk when she was attacked by 2 dogs from a nearby home. She suffered major injuries during the attack and was pronounced deceased at the scene. The dog owner was located and is cooperating with the investigation. The San Bernardino County Animal Control responded to the location and took custody of the dogs. The dogs, both of Dogo Argentino breed, will be held until the investigation is complete and a vicious dog hearing takes place. Anyone with information about this investigation is asked to contact Deputy C. Fox at the Victor Valley Sheriff's Station at 760-552-6800 or the Sheriff's Dispatch at 760-956-5001. Callers wishing to remain anonymous are urged to call the We Tip hotline at 1-800-78-CRIME. Very sad. Okay. Now we have the toddler that's missing in Georgia. This is not looking good. So sad. So the Chatham County Police Department said Tuesday it had seized evidence in the hunt for missing Georgia toddler Quinton Simon, and they believe the evidence will move this case forward. Quinton, 20 months old, was reported missing on October 5th by his mother, who said her boyfriend had seen him about 6 a.m., but later when she woke up, he was gone. She made a 911 call shortly after 9:30 a.m., and she told the dispatcher that she found the door open, although Quinton isn't able to open the door. She thought somebody took him, that somebody came in and took him. Police launched an extensive search of the area, calling in help from other nearby jurisdictions as well as the FBI. Early on, after finding no evidence of foul play, investigators considered the case a missing person. On Monday, however, the Chatham County Police Chief Jeff Hadley said detectives were looking at the criminal investigation aspect of it. Police have not revealed what type of evidence they've seized or where it may have came from. We're now working to analyze the evidence to see where it leads us. We continue to pursue all avenues to bring Quinton home. Following all leads and evidence, the department said in a simple statement announcing the seizure and saying that they will have no further statements on Tuesday. Many elements of the case have drawn close scrutiny. Quinton's mother, her boyfriend, Quinton, an older brother, and a younger sister lived in the house with Quinton's grandmother, who has recently begun eviction proceedings for her daughter and the boyfriend. The grandmother and her husband have legal custody of Quinton and the older brother. Additionally, a babysitter who sits the two boys almost daily said that someone called just before 6 a.m. on the day Quentin went missing and told her that she wasn't needed that day. And that was really weird, they said, because she babysat even when the mother was home, and yeah, didn't look good. Yes, very crazy. Tragic. A 22-year-old in Missouri, a woman, was held captive. She was sexually assaulted since early September and showed obvious signs of restraint and was wearing a metal collar with a padlock when she escaped the house where she was being held. The woman got out of the Excelsior Springs house early Friday morning and she ran to neighbors, knocking on doors and screaming for help. Neighbors called 911 and police later arrested Timothy Hazlett Jr. They charged him with kidnapping and assault. According to the court documents that were released today, officers responded to the call and they found the woman wearing latex lingerie. In addition to the metal collar and padlock, they say she had duct tape around her neck. She told officers that a man named Timothy picked her up in early September and brought her to the house where he kept her in a small room in the basement. She was restrained with handcuffs on her wrists and ankles. On Friday, she escaped the house after Hazlett left to take his child to school. The Excelsior Springs police chief, Gregory Dull, said the woman identified the house from the back of an ambulance on her way to the hospital, and officers had it surrounded before Hazlett returned. We were able to keep him from getting back in the house and possibly destroying evidence. EMS crews removed the collar from the woman's neck on the way to the hospital because it was restricting her breathing. At the hospital, doctors found injuries consistent with her story on her back. Officers located Hazlett before he returned home and initiated a traffic stop, and they took him into custody on an unrelated animal control violation. Neighbors who first helped the young woman said they saw the ligature marks on her wrists and her ankles, and the duct tape looked as if it had been over her mouth but was pulled down. She was emaciated and clearly weak. The woman told police that there were other victims, but investigators have not yet found any evidence of others. That's creepy. And then an update on Cupcake Trial. Sweet little girl. The Alabama man who kidnapped a 3-year-old girl in 2019 tried to abduct other children before taking a toddler who was ultimately found murdered. Patrick Stallworth bought $20 in candy and he drove to a K-8 school where he stopped teens walking home from school. A student testified during Stallworth's federal kidnapping trial that he offered her candy, but a friend grabbed her arm and they fled together. Stallworth and his girlfriend, Derek Brown, reportedly looked around for children before going to a Birmingham housing community where Camille Cupcake McKinney was attending a party. Witnesses claimed a man who was handing out candy put that barefoot toddler in his car and drove off. McKinney's body was reportedly discarded in a dumpster at the Woodside condominiums in Center Point, where Stallworth and Brown lived. Her body was reportedly discovered at the Sandtech Waste Services landfill in Gardendale 10 days after her kidnapping. McKinney is believed to have been killed shortly after her abduction. Forensic pathologist Daniel Dye testified that there was no evidence of her being SA'd before her death. Brown's lawyers claimed Stallworth's DNA was recovered from under McKinney's fingernails, but hers was not. However, a plastic mattress covering that was seized from the couple's apartment was said to have blood belonging to Stallworth, Brown, and McKinney. According to reports, Stallworth stated that he entered the apartment and he found Brown with McKinney. He said Brown asked him to essay the child, but he refused. Conversely, Brown said she witnessed Stallworth essaying the toddler. Last week, Stallworth was convicted of federal kidnapping for the abduction that led to Cupcake McKinney's death. He was also charged with multiple counts of child P after investigators reportedly found photos of young girls on his phone. Authorities said the images did not depict little Cupcake. Brown was previously charged with kidnapping in 2018 for an incident that involved her 3 children and the Department of Human Resources. Brown had lost custody of her 3 children for allegedly putting them in a clothes dryer as punishment. Oh my gosh. Stallworth and Brown are also charged in state court with capital murder in connection to Cupcake McKinney's death. Brown's federal trial is expected to begin on November 14th. Brown and Stallworth's capital murder trials have not been scheduled. An Ohio grand jury on Tuesday indicted a man on multiple charges relating to the death of a toddler last week. Michael James Keto, the boyfriend of the victim's mother, was reportedly babysitting 3-year-old Declan Hill at the family's home in Sylvania Township on Thursday. He reportedly called 911 and said the boy had rammed his head into a wall and was unconscious. Look at that sweet baby. Hill was rushed to a hospital and died from his injuries on Friday. The Lucas County coroner said the boy died from blunt force head and neck trauma and that his death was a homicide. The grand jury indicted on charges of aggravated murder and felonious assault, all with repeat violent offenders specifications and endangering child charge. He was arrested in Michigan and is awaiting extradition to Ohio. Keto was sentenced to up to 15 years in prison in 2014 for an armed robbery and was released after about 3 years. Right? I should have kept him there. Kid. Okay, now let's look at some trial updates. So Alex Jones' trial they're still awaiting the verdict. Let's see. Beginning last Thursday, deliberations happened for less than an hour as the day was mostly packed with closing statements from both sides. And then they had Friday and Monday and Tuesday. But still no verdict. Jurors continued to deliberate on Tuesday in the Alex Jones defamation trial. Before noon, the jury had another question for the court, questioning a line on page 17 of their jury charge document. It reads, "You must attempt to put each plaintiff in the same position as far as money could do it, that they would have been in had the defendant not engaged in their wrongful conduct." The family's lawyer told the judge that the language is historic language and may not be helpful to the jury in this case, saying the language is more of a formality for other cases rather than directed to this case. The family's lawyer said that line is not applicable to this case, telling the jury they should focus on defamation and emotional distress damages, as stated in the charge. Alex Jones's attorney, Norm Pattis, objected to the language the family's lawyers used in their explanation note back to the jury. Pattis said the language to the jury should read, "You are to consider the charge as a whole, not singling out particular words, phrases, or sentences." The judge and counsel decided to respond to the jury by ultimately saying to not focus on specific sentences in the jury charge. The court said they will continue to welcome questions from the jury. The jury was also asked to review Bill Sherlock's testimony. The judge said they will have it ready to play for them first thing Wednesday morning. The video testimony is 1 hour and 8 minutes long, and then court was adjourned on Tuesday with no verdict. Okay, let's see what's going on in the Rodin trial. So here we go. George Wagner IV, along with his mother Angela, father George Billy Wagner, and brother Edward Jake Wagner, are accused of shooting and killing the Roden family members execution style. The family's bodies were found on April 22nd, 2016. And they say this crime occurred between the 21st and the 22nd. Now, George Wagner IV faces 8 charges of aggravated murder, along with other charges associated with tampering with evidence, conspiracy, and forgery. Before the jury was brought in on Tuesday, the prosecution and defense attorneys argued over the presentation of several guns and spent ammunition found by investigators that did not match any ballistics evidence found at the 4 crime scenes. John Parker, George's defense attorney, argued that the guns were irrelevant to the case and that presenting them could unfairly bias members of the jury against George. Prosecutors said the guns were important because of the list of guns categorized by family members who own them found on Jake's phone. Angela Canepa, special prosecutor, said wiretap recordings the prosecution plans to present to the jury will show that George tried to mislead investigators by stating the phone list was simply a family wish list rather than a catalog of guns already owned by the family. 2 guns on that list, a .40 caliber Glock pistol and an SKS rifle, match ballistics evidence that was recovered from scenes and the bodies of the victims, the prosecution pointed out. Ultimately, Judge Randy Deering overruled Parker's request to forbid the presentation of the guns found, though he issued a caution to the jury that the discovery of guns found at the Flying W farm should not be used as a determination of George's character, or whether the ownership of the guns indicated a propensity to commit crimes. Testimony began with investigators describing the May 2017 execution of a search warrant at the Flying W farm where Billy lived during the time of the murders. The farm is owned by his mother, Frederica. Prosecution called BCI agent Ryan Schetterer to the stand for the 3rd time. First, images were shown of the Walmart shoes that matched the SKU number on a receipt that was found in the Wagner family belongings that was stored in the trailers on a property on SR 41 after the family moved to Alaska in 2017. Earlier in the trial, the BCI shoe print expert Suzanne Elliott testified that the tread on the Walmart brand shoes matched bloody footprints left at the first crime scene where Chris Sr. and Gary were found dead. Prosecution also previously showed the jury surveillance images from the Waverly Walmart showing Angela Wagner leaving the store minutes after the time printed on the receipt found by investigators. The bulk of Schetterer's testimony focused on the procedural details of obtaining and executing a search warrant. What kind of details investigators withheld from media and to the public to protect their investigation, and the role as lead investigator during the searches. Schetterer said specifically that investigators kept information about the ballistics evidence and possible weapons used in the murders from the public so that they can easily verify the credibility of tips and statements made by people who came forward with information. During the defense cross-examination, Parker directed attention to 2 interviews investigators had with Jake in the months before the Wagners moved to Alaska, asking whether Jake had lied to them. Schetterer said he couldn't remember exactly what he'd asked Jake about the murders to say whether George's brother had lied to them. Parker also implied a possible leak from law enforcement tipping off media to an investigation steps throughout the search warrants. Schetterer said a neighbor could have tipped the media off just as easily. He said he was too busy to learn how media found out about the second search conducted at the site of the trailers on SR 41. Next, prosecution recalled BCI agent Brian White to the stand. White was present during the search warrant at Flying W Farms and documented the search outside spaces of the property, including barns and other outbuildings. The farm, a working horse farm, spanned almost 2,000 acres, Brian said, and took quite a bit of manpower to search. While more than a dozen barns and buildings were searched, Brian only collected a few items he thought could be of evidential value, a few .22 fired Magnum casings found outside a barn and 2 fired 9mm Luger casings discovered in a fenced-in area that appeared to be for livestock. Neither type of casing was found at any of the 4 crime scenes. Parker asked Brian whether he was able to determine how long the casings had been on the ground during cross-examination, and Brian said he wasn't able to determine that. Parker also asked Brian whether it was unusual to find shell casings lying about a working farm, and White agreed it was not strange. Another BCI agent, Perry Roser, was called to the stand, and Roser said he was responsible for searching and documenting evidence inside the home of the property. He arrived that day at around 10 a.m., and he began photographing spaces inside the house, and he marked and collected evidence as he went along. Dozens of different guns were collected from throughout the house, ranging from pistols found in a bedroom to rifles and shotguns that were found in closets, and each gun was swabbed for DNA evidence in an attempt to determine who may have handled them. Roser said investigators also found a large safe in a closet. None of the guns collected from Frederica's home matched ballistics evidence found at the crime scenes, though prosecution pointed out earlier that BCI ballistics expert Matt White hadn't at the time identified all of the guns that he believed were responsible for casings and bullets found. After a lunch break, the prosecution presented other items Roser collected from Frederica's home that day, including a shipping form, a bank statement, and several notebooks. Though prosecutor Rob Junk did not ask him about the relevance of those items, instead he asked whether Roser collected those items just in case they held evidence. "It is questionable. If it's questionable, we'll take it," said Roser, noting that sometimes evidence collected ends up being unimportant. Junk also asked about the camouflage print coat collected that day, and Roser said it appeared to have blood on it, and an on-scene test was presumptive positive for the presence of blood. He swabbed the coat and collected it as evidence. Roser said swabs of the blood would have been sent to the lab, but he testified that he didn't know the end result of those tests. He also collected that day was a wad of tape that was found in a laundry basket next to an empty gun clip. It looked like many of us thought that it could be used to make a makeshift silencer for a weapon, said Roser. Matt White retook the stand next, and the prosecution asked whether he'd known at the time that weapons were taken from Frederica's home and what kind of gun fired the .22 caliber bullets that killed Hannah Hazel, Frankie, Hannah Mae, Chris Jr., and Dana. Matt said he hadn't figured that out. As a result, he said he test-fired every .22 caliber weapon taken from Frederica's house to compare the shell casings and rounds to those collected from the crime scenes and the victims. He said it was his expert opinion that the same gun had fired the .22 caliber shots from the two crime scenes and the casings found at the Wagner home on Peterson Road. Prosecutors then walked Matt through all the .22 caliber guns that were collected from the Flying W farm, through microscopic comparisons of the firing pin impression, where he already testified was unique on cartridges found at the murder scene. He was able to rule out every gun of that caliber collected. He also said that he was given a .30 caliber weapon from Frederica's home to test fire, but he ruled it out as the .30 caliber rifle used in the first murder scene because the murder weapon created 4 lands and grooves on a shell casing, while the test weapon fired only had 2. Matt was then asked to compare his knowledge of which guns could have been used in the murders against the list collected from Jake's phone, and Matt said there were 2. An SKS rifle, which Matt previously testified was likely the culprit for the .30 caliber rounds found at the first crime scene, and a Walther Colt 1911 .22 caliber long rifle pistol. The SKS was listed under George's name, while the Colt 1911 was listed under Jake's name. On cross-examination, Parker asked whether any of the guns in the courtroom at that moment were used in the murders, and Matt said no. They were all excluded. Parker also pointed out that while .40 caliber rounds were used in the first and fourth crime scenes, the only .40 caliber gun listed under George's name on the list from Jake's phone was a Beretta. Matt testified that .40 caliber rounds used in the murders had characteristics of all being fired from a Glock pistol. Court adjourned for the day, and Deering advised the trial would reconvene a half hour later. Wednesday morning, come in a half hour later while he and the attorneys held a hearing that didn't require their presence. They get to sleep in because they can come to court a half an hour later. Okay, and let's look at the Waukesha Trial. The seventh day of the 76-count criminal trial of Darrell Brooks, accused in the deaths and injuries in the 2021 Waukesha Christmas Parade tragedy, featured numerous state witnesses and an emotional testimony on Tuesday. Brooks, 40, is charged with 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide, 61 counts of recklessly endangering safety, 6 counts of hit-and-run causing death, 2 counts of bail jumping, all felonies, and 1 count of a misdemeanor battery. The first day's witness was Kelly Grabeau. She's an employee with Burris Logistics, and her daughter, Adelia Mafiola, were among those struck. Adelia was found buried under rubble that was left behind, and that was after the red SUV drove through the parade route in front of Bosco's Social Club on Main Street. And this is Kelly. Grabeau, she sustained a leg injury, bruising, and road rash, but her daughter sustained massive bruising and a broken hand and other injuries. Grabeau said she ignored her own pain and ran to find her daughter, who she last saw walking back to a sidewalk to hand out more candy. The girl was taken to the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. I still, to this day, don't know what happened to my daughter. I just know she was on the ground after the SUV was gone, she added later. On cross-examination, Brooks, who was dressed in a gray suit, asked her if she saw the driver. She had not. Prior to her testimony, Brooks again tried to challenge the jurisdiction of the court, as he has done throughout the proceedings. The judge, Jennifer Dorrow, rejected his arguments, saying that they have all been debunked throughout the ages. Then the president of the Waukesha Blazers, Jeff Rogers, took the stand after Grabeau. His parade group included 8-year-old Jackson Sparks, who died 2 days after he was struck by the SUV. Sparks, along with his brother Tucker, were marching with other members of the youth baseball organization. Rogers testified that he scrambled to find the young team members after the red SUV drove through the parade, moving some of the injured into the rear of the truck. My first reaction was to grab my daughter Maya, Rogers said. His son Caden and daughter Riley were among the injured, as was Tucker Sparks and Josh Kramer. He spotted Jackson Sparks, who was motionless on the ground. He knew Jackson was badly injured, and he later discovered that the boy died. Joshua Kramer, the head coach of the Waukesha Blazers, told the head coach of the 9-year-old baseball team, also testified about the impact of the team. I heard screaming, he testified. Horrific. I turned around to look what was going on. I saw a red SUV and people jumping to get out of the way. As he was looking to spot his son, he was knocked to the ground by the SUV, sustaining muscle contusions and bone bruises that resulted in hospitalization. A witness for the extreme dance group, whose members represented 15 of the injured participants, broke down in tears repeatedly during her testimony. Elisa Gajewski described how the dancers consisted of various age groups marching along unaware of the approaching SUV. Jamie Sutton, another team leader, testified that she was standing towards the back of the group when the SUV drove through the group. I heard someone yelling behind me and some were screaming, so I looked over my left shoulder, and just as I looked over, I saw a vehicle hitting some of the girls. On cross-examination, she recalled telling investigators that she thought there might have been something wrong with the vehicle because of the speed it was going. It was very fast, she said. Mike Carpenter, a detective with the Waukesha Police Department for 12 years, testified about how fast the SUV was traveling as it rode through the parade route. Based on the video footage and computer analysis and 3D imaging, Carpenter and his team calculated that the red SUV was moving between 33.7 to 34.6 miles per hour over a 41.8 foot range along that section of West Main Street. Brooks in cross-examination focused on what variables might make Carpenter's calculations incorrect. So there sometimes can be miscalculations, Brooks asked. Carpenter said even though it was his first time using some of the technology, he was confident with the results. Deborah Ramirez, who was at the parade with her boyfriend, their 4 children, and her father, she and one of her children, Isaac Ramirez, were struck. A tire ran over her left foot and Isaac on one leg. I was disoriented at first, looking around me. I remember seeing a lot of people on the ground. She delayed treatment for their injuries after considering how others were in more need of immediate care. I was able to see how much blood was on the ground at that time. She also didn't report the incident to police immediately, explaining I was in shock, basically a mental breakdown. I did not think of anyone else. Brooks was ordered to submit a witness list by Monday morning, has filed 12 subpoenas for witnesses. Those witnesses will include his ex-girlfriend and at least one police officer. It's unknown if any witnesses will focus on the legal arguments he has made since the start of the trial. The trial was expected to continue Wednesday with testimony requiring a Spanish interpreter. The witness, Juan Marquez, is being called by Brooks and will testify out of order. He is associated with Catholic communities in Waukesha. Okay. Did we handle that? Hey, LMNW, thank you for becoming a new Deputy Rambler. Okay. So, let's see. Okay, so what do you think of? So that Girl Scout movie, like I said, you do see the camp and a lot of the people that were involved in the investigation and the families of the girls, and you hear about, you hear from the counselors that were there too, and, so you kind of have to tune out a little bit that singer, like, I don't even remember her name. I know her face, but not her name, but it just seems like she was thrown in there. I don't know why. She really wasn't needed for that, but it's still a good watch. And I'm going to finish watching the last 2 episodes. The other thing that we're going to watch, maybe tonight, would be the Jennifer Dulos. It's, what is it, Mom Gone? I think it's Mom Gone. And that's on Hulu. So we'll see. I don't know how good it'll be. It's from Lifetime, and you know how Lifetime is, right? But Lifetime did a great Jodi Arias movie, so I don't know. They did it. They their Watts movie sucked, and it was not true at all, and totally fake and totally contrived, like using steroids. It was just ridiculous. And which other one was really? The Gabby Petito one wasn't that bad. They didn't, make Brian out to be any kind of a saint or anything. It was pretty. They showed the police screwed up, but I think they messed up when they showed that she hit him first or something, because I don't think that's the way that happened. But anyway, we're going to watch that probably. So, because I'm probably going to have
I missed last night. I fell asleep.
Yeah, I missed the last 2 episodes. But
I have to catch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It was good. I watched the whole thing.
Oh, you're up.
I bet, yeah. I went up and you went live somehow. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. I know. I have work to do.
So you watched the whole thing?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
And
it was good. It was so sad. I felt really bad for the counselor. The young counselor. It was her first year.
Yeah. The one that played the guitar?
Yeah. She took the girl that came, Michelle, I think that was her name. She was shy and she made a point to try to look after her. She felt so guilty. I felt so bad for her. So she put
You
those
can
three.
see the PTSD in her face
Yeah,
as she relives
is she the
the
one that?
sounds that she heard and her
Yeah.
investigations in the middle of the night.
Yes, the sounds. She was the one that heard those sounds.
Hi,
Yeah,
Jenny.
she says she can hear them but still can't explain them.
It's probably I don't want to say what I thought. I
Yes,
don't want to
yes.
say on that. I mean,
But you
that's
can see it. The faces she involuntarily makes.
I mean, that's for your interpretation what you think it would be, but I just feel horrible for her. And it was her first year, and she'd been going for what, since 1971. Was her first year, and then that was her first year as a counselor. She definitely PTSD. The police officer, the detective with the mustache.
Right, yeah, with the long mustache.
Oh my God, it was hard. It was a hard documentary.
Yeah.
Mm.
And Deborah Vancouver's
Heart-wrenching.
din is saying that the one after was good too. What one was after that?
That was, oh my goodness, I was right. So I was in and out.
So did it eventually stop auto playing?
It went on to another one about a year. Oh, I think.
Yeah, okay,
all I know is
Tamara.
my name is
Bye, see you later.
Stephen.
Thanks for the deal.
I saw part of that and
Oh
then,
yeah, this guy that was kidnapped. Kid. His name
That
was.
was
Yeah, he was kidnapped, and then he was brought back 7 years later, and he just wasn't.
he bought himself.
Oh yes, I did see that. I did see that. Yes, that was
that
I was in and out of consciousness. That was oh, what the heck? My name is Stephen. Is it? Wait.
Yeah.
No. What was his name?
I know my name is Steven or something like that. I have no idea. Yeah. What did you think, Carolyn?
I'm trying to wait. Hold on a minute now, because I'm just having like a. Was something happen with his brother?
Yeah, it was totally disjointed, the narrative. Yeah.
He missed it. He saw his brother, and I remember him saying he was hugging his brother. And
But
then,
am I
his
dreaming or
brother was convicted
I'm trying to
of
remember if
murdering
that was the
4
thing.
women.
Did his brother do something really bad?
Yeah, murdered 4
Yeah.
women.
Yes, right. Okay.
whoa,
You know
Yeah.
what? I feel like I read that somewhere, not that I saw that last night. This is crazy.
I must have
I
been.
quit watching it after
And then
a
his
while.
kids were
Yeah.
there. Like I remember his older kids.
His brother Carrie.
Carrie. And where was this kid for those years?
He was kidnapped by some guy. And the guy was, they don't know what he did to him.
But that wasn't the kid. That wasn't the kid that.
But they never say what happened to, do they? I didn't finish it. They never say what happened to Steven. They don't show him. He's only talked about in the past tense.
He's passed away at
They
20.
said that he died at one point.
Yes, he had a motorcycle accident the night before the Emmys. It was a hit and run. He died at 24, night before the Emmys of the movie that him and his wife participated in. And Stephen actually played one of the police officers counselling him in the actual movie.
Wow.
So Stephen died.
Yes.
Yeah, Stephen was
all of
hit
it.
by a hit and run. He was on his motorcycle the night before the Emmys of the movie.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, and then
Spoiler
what are you
alert.
trying to ask Kevin? Oh, you're asking Kevin. You're not asking me. I got you. I can't call her because what's the matter, Janae? What's up? Janae's got a question here. I don't know what the heck. Tammy, what eye did Janae last have done, Tammy, if you're awake? All right.
I know.
You know?
Yeah, it was her right eye. She
Your
had a
right eye,
eye.
Janae.
Yeah, I believe so.
Is it on the
Was
spreadsheet?
her right? Yes.
Okay.
Please refer to the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so your right eye, Janae.
She said this one was better. She said the last
Yeah.
she knew it was that.
Right.
So she had that, and then when she had that done, it wasn't as, it wasn't as scary for her. And she did well. She did well. So she's starting to, see and everything, and she's excited. Really.
Right, right.
I
Where-
wouldn't be a life without glasses. I wear glasses.
Oh gosh, you know what? Thank you, Mike. We didn't
What did
go. We didn't go over the top story.
No, we didn't.
No. Hold. Thank you, Mike. We gotta wait. We gotta wait. We got on the housekeeping, and I don't know what the heck happened in Jolissa. Yeah, sad end to that. Thank you, Mike.
Oh my goodness.
Thanks for keeping us on track. Sometimes we have ADD, and we get.
It goes to other things.
Sorry. Thanks for keeping us on track there. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So Jolissa, right? Let me put this over here. Yeah, sad ending to that. Let's see. Let me get this off. And trying to pull up a picture for her.
My cat with me out. She says rambling along.
Yeah, we were just rambling along, but this Mike Talk Show is going to keep us on track here. Okay, let's see if we can make that a little bigger. Okay.
Hey,
So,
everybody.
she was, let's see. She was last seen more than 2 months ago. Like I said, she disappeared right around the time of Kylie Rodney, and the Adventures with Purpose was going to go and search for her as well. And I know that wasn't successful back then, but I don't really know the full details of that search. But she was found dead inside her car that was crashed at the bottom of a cliff in the Sierra Nevada foothills. Jolissa Fuentes, 22, was at a family gathering on August 6 when she drove home in the overnight hours to get some of her belongings. Her family reported her missing the next night, and police said that they were treating it as a criminal matter. Selma Police Chief Rudy Alcaraz led the investigation into Fuentes' disappearance and personally found the crash site. I just got lucky in finding the location where a car went off the road, Alcaraz said in a news conference on Tuesday, after stopping his patrol car near a curve in the road where he saw tire tracks that led off into the dry brush. As a woman of faith, I believe he was divinely channeled to that area, said the Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims. After Alcaraz discovered the tire tracks, drones were used to follow the likely path of the vehicle. And once the car was located, law enforcement officials used 475 feet of rope to rappel down the 250-foot cliff to a landing and then down a second cliff to recover her body, adding that the area was so steep and thick with vegetation that law enforcement lost track of the rappellers. The crash site near the Pine Flat Lake is in the heavily wooded mountains between Fresno and Kings Canyon National Park. Joey Fuentes, Jolissa's father, broke down thanking law enforcement and volunteers who had searched over the past 2 months, especially Chief Alcaraz, who early in the investigation promised the father he would find his daughter. He's my hero, gushed Fuentes. The two men embraced following Fuentes' comments with the police. Chief heard whispering over and over, "I'm so sorry." Foul play is not suspected, Chief Alcaraz said, surmising that Fuentes was likely tired and fell asleep at the wheel. The California Highway Patrol is investigating the crash. So, yep, there that is. Yep. Very sad. Where's my thing now? Hold on. Okay. I don't know if like I said, I don't know about AWP Mike Talk Show. I know they were doing a search, like right after they found Kylie, they were going to go out that Monday, and I don't know if they searched that cliff. They were searching underwater, right, Kevin? But I'm not really sure of the areas that they searched, Mike Talk Show. I just know that it wasn't successful.
I have to take her out away today.
But, yeah. AWP might come out for comments.
Ready tomorrow, I guess.
AWP might come out for comments. Condolences. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, Mike. I'm not aware of that, but thanks for keeping us on track there.
Yeah, Mike, thank you. It's very sad.
Kevin says that AWP only searched the lakes for her. Mike, talk show. And LMW says AWP searched 2 different lakes looking for her.
Oh boy. That was the one that we discussed right before Kylie Rodney, isn't it? Remember
It was right around the same time, yep.
the SUV. It was an SUV. Yeah, we did talk about that case.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yep.
remember.
Yep. Yep. So, yeah, cats with a meow, huh? So, anyway, tonight we're going to watch, it's called Mom Gone. Here, I'll tell you a little bit about it.
Not really familiar with the case.
Oh, you're not? Oh, we
Did it-
covered that. We covered that extensively.
All I know is he was a rich guy, and he was out on
Well, no, okay, so he was married to her, but he really wasn't a rich guy. Her family was very wealthy. And they helped him out a lot, okay? And he had this business, construction business, building these big, beautiful homes. But he was deeply in debt to her mother. Her mother was bankrolling him,
Oh my
okay?
goodness.
But he also was very athletic, and he water skied like crazy. And he got the children into water skiing. And we went through Jennifer Dulos' whole blog where she would write about their life when they were together and everything.
When was this? Where was I?
I don't know where you were. I don't know.
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
know.
and anyway, they lived in Connecticut, but they got a divorce. I think they might not have been fully divorced, but they were definitely separated. And she was living in her own house, and he was living in another house. And he went, allegedly, and lie in wait for her with this bicycle. Like, he took a truck, and then he had a bicycle, and then they surmised that he was in the house waiting for her, and there were all these paper towels, according to the housekeeper. And then they saw somebody, like, driving off. They found her car in this park, but she wasn't found. Her body still hasn't been found to this day, but the housekeeper said, like, all of the paper towels were gone. So somebody cleaned up a crime scene. They did find what would be like, they know that a major crime happened in that garage, and it's something that she wouldn't have survived. And then he started acting really weird, and they had surveillance of him and the girlfriend throwing stuff into different garbage receptacles and all kinds of things. And I forget which city they were in. And then they got that, and then they got them doing something really strange back at, like, another property he owned with the girlfriend, doing stuff weird. And also he borrowed one of the workers' like trucks. There was a whole bunch of weird stuff he was doing. So anyway, he has the same attorney that Alex Jones has, Norm Pattis. And then when it was getting down to it, he was like he was held with an ankle bracelet, but he was doing things like taking down displays for Jennifer Dulos. So they called him back into court, and they were going to probably, say no more house arrest for you. And he couldn't take it. So he started his car up in his garage and was killing himself, leaving a letter that he's innocent, but he just can't take this anymore. They got him revived a little bit, and they put him in one of those, those chains, like that iron lung thingy. But he didn't make it. And then his attorney that he was in cahoots with, and his girlfriend, they were still in there. And Mawini, the attorney, is so crazy that his wife literally saw someone coming up on her back deck that was probably to kill her, because there was already a grave dug in this camping hunting camp. Yeah, it's very extensive. Then they were cleaning up this other thing. It's crazy. So, yeah, really. But anyway, the movie is by Lifetime, and it's called Mom Gone.
Yeah, we should definitely
Or Gone
watch
Mom.
that.
Gone Mom. I think it is Gone Mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Carolyn,
Yeah.
there is an echo on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
And not from you, but it's like when
From me.
Nicole's talking, I guess when I'm talking.
All right. I don't know what to do about that. Maybe everybody mute and then talk and mute. I don't know. I don't know what to say. But so Gone Mom is based on the true story, the disappearance of Jennifer Dulos, and it's going to detail the story of Jennifer Dulos. It has Annabeth Gish as Jennifer Dulos, the wealthy Connecticut mother of 5 who mysteriously vanished on May 24th, 2019. Jennifer believed she had found a Prince Charming in Photos Dulos, who's played by Warren Christie, but by the time of her disappearance, their marriage had all but disintegrated, and the estranged couple was enraged in a contentious custody dispute. After she disappeared without a trace, after dropping off their children at school, police turned the spotlight on Photos, who claimed that Jennifer staged her own disappearance, a la the film Gone Girl. Despite his assertions, investigators charged Photos with murder January 2020, but just weeks later, Photos committed suicide, still claiming his innocence. To this date, the body of Jennifer Dulos has never been found. So let's see what they have. That's what it is. And so now Annabelle Gish, isn't she? Annabeth Gish. How old is she? She was born in 1971. Okay. Yeah. So I think we're going to watch that. And if you are a Patreon or a member, you can come and watch it with us. I will put the number. I'm probably going to start a new Zoom, and I think I'll do that right now. So that, don't worry, we're still here. I'm still here. I didn't leave. I'm going to start a new Zoom, and that way it won't time out. Okay, because we can go like 36, 48 hours or something. Our Zoom runs 24/7. But, oh, that's a new thing. I like that. I can just do that now. Oh, that's great. I can just do that, but everybody gets mad and they say don't just copy the link, but that's a new update. Okay, so I'm going to put this in not only the Patreon, I'm going to put it in the community tab and in Zoom. If for some reason you're a member of Patreon and you can't get it, you can email me. But you have to do it like right away, not like 20 minutes after the movie starts, okay? Because then I'm in my massage chair and you're out of luck. No. So, let me put this. Okay. Okay. Members. Post. Okay, let me just put this in Patreon. I'll get you in 1 second, Nicole, just writing this thing out. I'm coming. Publish now. Oh, shoot, I didn't put that in there. I thought I did. Okay. I'm coming, guys. Hold on. I'm coming. Okay. Okay, I've got to put this in Slack. Hold on. I'm going to put general.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey. Hi, Robity. Robity Boom.
Hi,
Hello.
Bob.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good.
That's good.
Wow, it's a party, huh?
It's gonna be a party tonight. Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Knock, knock.
Real Worcester. I'm just looking up stuff like that. Hi, Kat. Hi, Kat.
Was there ever any more information on that guy that chopped off his leg?
No, you know what? I haven't seen anything else about that guy that
Well,
chopped
I
off his
haven't
leg.
thought about it in a while until now.
We don't want to talk about that.
How did he live?
I don't know how he did that. Oh my gosh, let me just see if there's an update. I doubt it.
The only thing I could think of was in Port
Hi
Eyes
everybody,
was
chat
like
up joining us for an awesome movie night.
Does this look old to you guys? Like really old? It's made in Japan.
I don't
Somebody-
see any. What is it?
It's just really old. This figurine is made in Japan.
it's like playing the clarinet.
Is he
or-
playing an instrument?
He's sitting in a chair playing the clarinet, yeah. And it says at the bottom, it says Japan right here on the stool. But I can't see anything else. There's a couple of different.
Think of how much stuff they lost when they had the tsunami. You can only think that kind of thing would be worth a lot more.
This is very old, guys. This is incredibly. I don't know. I don't know. Somebody told me to get it. I don't know who it was. Like maybe Chris or maybe Linda. Maybe it was Linda.
So what does the label down the bottom say?
It just says Japan, and there's the number on it. I think, but I can't see what that is. It's on the foot. Japan, right there.
And it's a child.
It looks like a boy, sitting on his stoop.
Hi, Farm Life. Hi,
playing
Jenny
the
D1. Hi,
clarinet.
Rubbly
And I'm gonna show
Bob,
you a
Tammy,
photo.
Christy,
everybody.
Gail, Margot, Earthbound,
Hello.
Debbie D, Janae, Sassy Darcy,
Diane.
Nicole, Garb.
Okay.
Who else did I forget? Anybody cats?
His face.
Sharon's address.
Who's?
Sharon's.
1313 Mockingbird Lane, Lansing, Michigan, 32169. Oh, I just doxed her. Sorry, Sharon.
We're not live, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Are you really serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, really serious.
I just doxed her.
Hey Kevin, come
Are
join
you
the
for
movie
real?
night.
I just doxed her. She won't mind.
That's
She
what he
won't
said
mind.
in
Sharon
class.
won't mind. Don't worry about it. Sharon won't care. Sharon, you don't care that I just doxed your address, do you, to the entire YouTube?
Look at this. Look at this, Carolyn. Look at this jug.
Oh, that's super cute. Is that miniature? Oh my gosh, I love it. Is it porcelain?
You should showing your
Is
jugs
it
on the
porcelain?
line, the cute shells.
Oh, that's really cute.
I love miniatures.
You got that-
Miniatures are the best.
Beautiful.
You-
This is so cute.
You got that today?
I did. I got a few
Where
cute
is
things
Sharon?
today.
Was that your sneaky purchase? Miniatures are the best.
Wow.
I thought it was a big one earlier on, and then she pulled it away from the lens, and it was like so tiny.
Okay, guys, we're going to go. We'll see you tomorrow. Everybody come join us. If you can't get in and you're a member of Patreon, then come on in. Send me an email, then come in.
This is a Limoges and allergy medicine too. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.